Hey chulas, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know who I am Marianne. I'm the owner of Pink Chateau Boutique. We're on Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest. We're on Twitter, but we're not very active. And we're now here on YouTube. So first and foremost, excuse my wall. That's why I put my partition here to try and hide it a little bit, but it still shows. We closed up that window we had right there, and I'm just gonna paint it white, but I just haven't gotten around to it. But I will be getting to it soon, and then I'll be putting some wall art here and try to set it up a little bit nicer for you guys, so whenever I record it looks a little cleaner. But yeah, so excuse that for now. So let's get right into it. So today I am going to be doing a video just based on mistakes that I have seen business owners make, or mistakes that I've actually made myself. And these mistakes are mostly for new businesses. So I don't really see businesses that have been in business for a long time making these mistakes necessarily, but most times in the beginning, because there's really no rules out there. There's no like handbook telling you how to run a business, how to start your business. You know, there's not much rules or like guidelines. So it is very difficult in the beginning. You're kind of just trying everything and seeing what works. So my first mistake, or not my first mistake, but the first mistake that I see a lot of boutique owners make, especially new ones, is not doing enough research when it comes to picking your boutique name. You definitely need to do research. You need to search that name you're thinking of, because someone might have already taken it. You need to search domains. So I would go to godaddy.com and search the website that you're thinking of, you know, having for your boutique. So obviously if someone owns it, you can't have it. And I've seen a lot of boutiques where even if it's a boutique that already has that name, they'll still like rename it and just put like shop in front of it, or like something at the end, like add a couple words at the end and keep that name. And I don't think that's smart, because you're still look like you're associating with that brand. So or that other boutique. So that other boutique or other customers may think that that's just like another page of that main page. So you really want something unique when you come up with your name. I mean, it is very difficult to come up with a name. I honestly don't remember how I came up with my name, and I've actually thought about changing it because it's a little complicated, especially when I go to downtown LA and I tell people, or they tell me, hey, what's your boutique name, or what's your business name? And I'm like, Le Pink Chateau, and they're like, huh? How do you spell it? So it's kind of frustrating sometimes, because I have to like spell it out literally each time. It happens a lot where people cannot pronounce the boutique name. But you know what? I kind of don't want to, because that also sets me apart. It makes it different because you can't pronounce it. You think about it. You know what I'm saying? Like I've had some vendors that know me just because it was so difficult for them to try to pronounce my name that they remember me. So when I go in, they'll say, oh, Pink Chateau, or they'll like not even say it correctly, but the fact that they even know or they remembered is something important to me, because you want to be remembered, you want to be known, and you want to build, you know, that brand. So definitely do a lot of research. Search on Instagram, search on all social media pages, and then Google, and then make sure that name is not taken by anyone. Number two mistakes that I've seen made is other boutiques copying other boutiques. And I'm saying this because not that I copied other people, but I was inspired by other people, and I saw the type of when I first started, I saw the type of clothes other boutiques were bringing in, and I really liked it for myself. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try and, you know, bring something in like that. So then I would go to LA and I would buy merchandise like that other boutique. And then I noticed my items weren't selling, because, and it's crazy because I would see that on their page, they would say, oh, sold out, restocked. And I would say, well, why isn't it selling for me? And the number one reason why it wasn't selling for me was because I have a totally different customer. And I almost feel like a lot of people say you need to pick your like demographic and who you're selling to, but honestly sometimes I feel like your demographic picks you. In my case, it has. So when we first started, we carried a lot of affordable clothing, so everything was almost under $25. Like I didn't have anything over $25 for a very long time. And we did have a different type of customer because it was more basics and stuff like that. And then we kind of evolved and started getting items that were a little bit more expensive but better quality. And you know, our customers started evolving. It started becoming different types of customers. Now that we're on TikTok, I feel like our customers are a little younger. So it's very difficult because I feel like in my boutique, I have a different type of customer than I do online. So there'll be items that don't sell out in store at all, and in online they sell out quick. So it's kind of difficult because I'm kind of finding myself buying for two different types of customers right now. And so that means more inventory, which kind of sucks, which you don't want to overbuy. And that's actually another one that I have is overbuying, but we'll get into that one later. So yeah, don't copy other boutiques' likeness, aesthetics, you know, their logos. I've even seen that where a lot of people copy each other logos and color. I mean, you can copy each other's colors, not copy each other's, but say you already thought of having pink before you saw someone else having pink. Pink is a very like, everyone uses it, you know. You can't really say that that's copying, but definitely when the logos look alike and you have the same colors going on and you know the same fonts, then it's just kind of like, hey, you should probably look into getting a new design. And you can get one on Fiverr. That's where I've gone before to get logos or you know, any type of design. If you're not very good at graphic design, you can get on Fiverr, and some logos are as low as $5. If you want something complex, it can get up to $200, $300. They even do website designs on there. They do so many things. So if you can't come up with the design, I definitely recommend getting on there and finding someone that can do that design for you. So the third mistake that I've seen is low markups. And I've seen a lot of boutiques have low markups, and yeah, it's great when you're starting off. And I kind of had low markups, and that's kind of a mistake that I made too, is in the beginning I had low markups. So whenever I had sales, say I had a 50% off sale, I actually ended up losing. To make sure that you have a good markup, a lot of boutiques do 50%, but I still feel like even that's a little low. You should probably do like a 60% or 70%. And I know that depends on the price. There's times where I get really expensive items, like I'll get a $22 jean and I'm not gonna price it at like $50. But I mean, everyone I think can tailor their own prices. It's really up to you, but just know that if you have a sale and that item is less than 50% up markup, you're going to lose money. And that's kind of a mistake I did in the beginning. I lost quite a bit of money from trying to be affordable and then having that 50% off sale or a 40% off sale, and I would end up losing. So make sure that you are being smart about your markups, and you're really here to make business. You're here to make money. You're not here to give out clothing for free. And at the beginning, when I started buying more expensive items, I would even get DMs from customers that were upset because my prices went up. But it's not necessarily my prices went up, it's just the quality went up. So I started buying better quality clothing from better quality vendors, or vendors that manufacture here in the US. And not saying that that's better quality, but it's more expensive. So when they manufacture here in the United States, it is a lot more expensive than if they manufacture in Vietnam or China, etc. Fourth mistake that I've seen is not being consistent. And I've seen this, I guess it comes when people are discouraged, and I've done it myself too. When I get discouraged, I'm having a slow day, and it almost doesn't push me. Before, I would get really bummed out and depressed, and I would ask myself, am I doing the right thing? Like, I haven't made any money, like I haven't had a customer come in you know, the whole day, or this week's sales were really low. And it's easy to get like doubtful, and you almost just shut down and not do anything. And that's kind of how I used to be, where if I saw it was a slow day, I just wanted to like roll up in a ball and cry, or like be at home like depressed. Now I kind of get in this thing where like I am like, snap out of it, Marianne. You need to do something about it. You need to make these sales happen, and there really is no excuse. I know sometimes, you know, like in the beginning of the year, I think the first week is a little bit of like you'll see your sales drop because people are recovering from spending so much money during Christmas time. So take it as like, okay, I made a lot of money in Christmas time, but you know, I'm slow during the first week of January or second week, etc. But at least I made that to kind of make up for this. So that's why you have to save. And that's another mistake that I've seen. So I'll get into that one later. But you always want to make sure that you're being consistent. So people are not going to buy from you unless you're posting. It's so weird how that goes. It's like, unless, it's kind of like you, when you're on TV, you're watching TV, you're watching a movie, or not necessarily a movie, but you're watching TV and there's a commercial of like McDonald's. I don't like McDonald's very often. I eat it maybe once a month because I don't know where I'll get this craving for a Big Mac. I don't know, or a cheeseburger or fries. So you're seeing this TV show and then a McDonald's commercial comes on and you see that Big Mac or that cheeseburger or chicken nuggets and you're like, oh my God, that looks so good. And what do you want to go do? You want to go get chicken nuggets, or you want to DoorDash chicken nuggets, or that's how I am. At least that's how I am. I don't know about you guys, but I'll see those commercials and it makes me want to go grab a pizza, or say I see a Target commercial and now I want to go to Target tomorrow. So you have to, obviously you can't afford commercials, and I can't afford commercials at the moment, but maybe one day I will. And so your commercial is you posting, you doing videos, you posting on TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Pinterest. And I understand you may not get as much views on all social medias because maybe your demographic or your type of customer does not get on Facebook. Mine really doesn't. Like if you go to search us on Facebook, we don't have much followers or much likes either. We just don't, I feel like Facebook is kind of for the older crowd, and I hope I don't offend anyone. I mean, I'm on Facebook too, but it is kind of for the older crowd. The new generation, they're not really on Facebook. And that's just the truth. I'm not trying to be mean. But yeah, be consistent. Post, you know, at least 3 posts a day. Even if you have a busy day, you have to post, because people are gonna forget about you. Like they will. I've noticed that. Like we'll lose followers if we stop posting. We won't make as many sales. And it's so weird because I'll notice like, oh shoot, it's 12 and I've only made this much. Like what's going on? So I'll start posting. I start sending emails. I'll start posting on all social medias, and then within a few hours, I start getting more sales. And it's crazy how that works. So definitely need to be consistent. My 5th mistake that I've done and I've noticed other boutiques do is buying too much inventory. And this year was kind of crazy because in the beginning of the year, or 2020, I'm sorry, not 2021, but 2020 was a very, very busy year for us. So during COVID, we did sell a lot, and I wasn't overbuying, but during the end of the summer, we got a lot of sandals in that I had pre-ordered. And this was my bad, not thinking about when those sandals were going to be in. They were going to be in kind of like not in the beginning of winter, but kind of like maybe a month before the beginning of winter. And that's a big no-no because winter's coming, people want boots already. And you kind of have to be on top of that, when the seasons change. You don't want to be getting summer clothes before winter, because that stuff's just gonna stay on the racks until probably next year. So I did mess up on a couple items I did buy, but I'm not too worried about it because I have noticed that whenever, say summer is gonna start and I still have a couple summer items from last year, they're going to start selling as soon as summer comes in, because those are the items we already have available. I'm not saying it's okay, and I'm not saying you should do that. No, you shouldn't. You should be cautious about the items you're buying and pay attention to, when spring ends, when summer starts, all that, just so you're buying at the correct time. This year was too crazy. This last year was too crazy and I was not able to pay attention to those things. I was just buying. But in the past, when I first started my boutique, I did overbuy and I ended up putting things on credit card. I wasn't able to sell the inventory as fast as I wanted. And that's an expectation I had, was to kind of get these new arrivals and for them to sell. And it wasn't like that. Make sure you're buying items that you're absolutely sure are gonna sell. And I know that's hard because sometimes you'll think like this is definitely gonna sell out, and then you bring it in and then it doesn't sell. And then the items that you don't think are gonna sell end up selling. So it's really just just a thing of getting to know your customer, understanding what they like, what's trending, being on top of trends, you know, all that, just doing research. Honestly, being on Pinterest has really helped me figure out what trends are in and what trends are coming. And I mean, you have Google at your hand. The next mistake is the mistake I made, expecting to sell out right when you get the items. Sometimes that doesn't happen. So you'll get new arrivals and you notice they're not moving, they're not selling as quick as you'd like, because obviously you want to get the inventory, you want to sell it, and then you want to rebuy more inventory. And sometimes you end up with the inventory for weeks, months, even years. And a way to kind of tackle that is to take new pictures. So say you have a shirt that has not sold at all, but you posted the picture like a month ago, repost it. And if it's not a picture that you're like proud about, that, because there's been times where I post pictures and I'm like, I don't really like the lighting in that picture. There's a lot of factors, like when you're taking pictures, like certain lightings need to be used, or you need to like edit pictures a certain way for the color to kind of show. Like sometimes you take a picture of black and ends up looking gray on the picture, so you have to kind of edit it to like make sure the color looks like how it is, because customers are going to buy that item and then receive it and then say, well, that's not the same as the picture. I understand sometimes laptops kind of, you know, mess up the colors and stuff like that, but you want to get the color as crisp as possible. So what I end up doing is I end up retaking the picture of the shirt. So I had this one flannel that we actually sold out of within 24 hours after I retook the picture. So I did the flat lay on the floor and I thought it looked really nice how I took it, but it would not sell, and it was not selling. And I actually posted that picture twice. And then I actually had bought this flannel during Black Friday for it to be a Black Friday deal, and it wasn't selling. So right now it's January 11th. And this flannel barely sold out January, I think it was the 8th, that same day, just because I had retook the picture on the model. I styled it different with a different shirt, some jeans that kind of like fit the vibe and everything. And literally it sold out that same day. And now I have people requesting for it to be restocked. And it's kind of crazy because I could have just gave up and I could have just said, oh, well, it's not going to sell. I guess I'm going to have to wait until I have a sale and mark it down and sell it at 50%. But I mean, these people could have bought this flannel 50% off during our Black Friday sale, because I had bought it for Black Friday. But they didn't take advantage of it because the picture looked different. And then I retook it on the model and they loved the way it looked on, so they ended up buying it. So I think it's important that if you have any items that aren't selling, maybe on the model people didn't really, you know, it didn't get attention. So maybe you could take it on the floor, like on a flat lay, or maybe you can take it on a mannequin, or maybe even on a hanger. I've noticed though that hanger pictures don't really do good for us, so I've never done that. I've only done it in the past, but it never did really well, so I kind of quit that and I just started doing flat lays or on the model. That's what works for us. But on the model, it's obviously the best choice because people want to see how it looks on. You could also do videos. You could do kind of a try on. We do our lives where we have one model that's a size 3 and then we have a model that's a size 9, so that way you can kind of see how the item looks on both, you know, different body types. And that has helped our sales as well. So you could do something like that. If an item's not selling, retake the picture. Don't give up on the item just because it wasn't selling. Just retake the picture and you'd be surprised. Maybe you'll sell out, maybe it'll be a hit, maybe people ask for it back again. And that's kind of what happened to us this last week. And it's pretty crazy because we've had that item for quite a while. I mean, 3 weeks. So, and it's an item that I thought I was gonna sell out on Black Friday, and I didn't. So I ended up making more money though because people liked it now and they didn't use a code on it. So number 7 is going to be not paying sales taxes. Did you guys hear that? My stomach, I'm like so hungry right now. I haven't ate breakfast and it's 12:08. So after this video, I'm gonna go grab something to eat because I'm starving. So anyways, number 7 is not paying sales taxes. And I've noticed a lot of people, I think, forget that they have to do that. So I have a lot of people on TikTok DM and comment saying, oh, are we supposed to pay sales taxes quarterly, monthly? How do I do it? And it all just depends on like your type of business and what they have you set up as, because back in 2000, what was it, 16, 15, I was paying yearly. So every year, like a year would go by, and in the beginning, I think it was, I don't know if it was January 28th, that I would have to pay the whole sales tax for the year before, which was a lot. I mean, I hated that plan because when we were doing okay, the next year I would have to pay like a lot of money, like all at once. So I would rather it be on a quarterly basis, so I'm able to just pay what I'm collecting without having to, like, you know, save or set aside for that. I always set aside for that anyway, like I don't overspend, but I think it's easier if it's not a whole year out all at once. It's kind of a lot of money, and you see that money in your bank account and you're thinking it's yours, and it's not. So I would rather be on a quarterly. But I mean, it just depends on your business. I've seen people do after that, I think it was in 2000, what, like maybe 18 or 17, maybe it was 18, that they changed us to quarterly basis. And now, or not now, but before we were on a quarterly when we were sole proprietors still. But now we're a corporation, so we are at like it's kind of like a monthly. So at the end of the month, I have to pay what I collected from the month before. And then at the end of the quarter, I have to file like the actual paperwork, like the return, and then pay if I still owe for that month, or depending on how the quarter went. So yes, you definitely do need to do that, and you need to be on top of that, because if not, they'll be on you, and there'll be fees, and the fees are pretty high. Like one time we were behind because when we changed the corporation, I didn't know that that was going to change. I never received a letter or an email or anything letting me know that now I was going to be on a monthly basis. So I was 2 months behind. I ended up paying, I think it was like 400 something for those 2 months. So it is quite a bit of like money. So make sure you're on top of that, and you can also find like the deadlines on their website, and it'll let you know how that works. Luckily now I have a bookkeeper that's helping me with that, so I don't have to worry about it, thank God. Once you can afford a bookkeeper, do it, because it is just life-changing. Like I don't have that stress on my shoulders of having to worry about you know, keeping up with my, you know, sales, how much I spent, all that. And it's really important to know your numbers. So 6 years later, I finally made that choice. But you know what, this last year was really good, so we were able to, you know, afford a bookkeeper. So let's see. Okay, so number 8 is giving up too soon. I've seen a lot of boutiques open and close like within a month span. A month is not enough to determine whether you're going to be successful or not. You really need to stick it out at least 2 years. I mean, I stuck it out 3 years for us to be like, you know, like okay. Obviously I'm not balling by any means, but it took me 3 years to really get that momentum going, and to be making sales, to build this brand, to grow online, social media, etc. All that takes a while, and you cannot expect to be an overnight success. I know there's a lot of people out there that have reached that success overnight, but it's 1 in a million. It's very important for you to be consistent. If you're not consistent, you can't expect results, and people are going to forget about you. And that's why people close down their boutiques, because they weren't patient enough. They didn't think that they had to put in that much work in order to make money. And yeah, you need to. And just because you start making money does not mean that you go and spend it all at once in buying new inventory or buying things for yourself. You really need to be in the beginning paying attention to those things. And those are things that I wish I paid attention to, because in the beginning I ended up, you know, getting myself in quite a bit of debt, and it was very hard to come out of that. Barely, I think probably the beginning of last year, not 2020 but 2019, I was able to pay off all my debt, and that took me probably 3 years, because I probably put, I think like $10,000 on credit cards. Yeah, that's a lot. So make sure you're not making those mistakes. And I made those mistakes because I overbought, so just avoid that. I've seen a lot of boutiques that open and close just because they didn't make any sales in a week, in a month, in 2 months. Honestly, you just need to be active. You just need to be posting. People need to see your passion. Maybe you need to get on TikTok and, you know, do a day in the life type of vlog. Don't do this feel sorry for me vlogs, because you're not trying to make people feel sorry for you. You want people to support your dream. So maybe tell them your story. Tell them where you came from, you know. Don't make up the story. Don't change the story. Be who you are. Be genuine. And then people will want to support you because of that. So don't overly try to sell all the time. Maybe just hang out with your followers, you know, make videos like basically just hanging out, talking to your customers, all that really helps. Having a second job would help if the financial aspect is what's causing you to like just completely give up, but you really shouldn't. So it took me a while, and there was days where I thought about giving up, but I didn't, and I'm so glad I didn't, because look where we are now. So number 9 is a mistake that I kind of made, más o menos, mishandling money. Like I said, I got myself into quite a bit of debt. I should have been a little smarter about money and just bought as I sold, and maybe not even bought a bunch of inventory the second time I go to LA. Say the first time I go to LA, I spent $1,000, but I was only able to sell like $500 worth of my inventory. Then I wouldn't go and buy another $1,000 of inventory. I would probably buy 500, but I didn't care. I was just going and, you know, putting it on a credit card, and then I ended up with $10,000 in debt on my credit cards. And yeah, 27% is pretty high on that, you know. So I felt like I was stuck. I could not get out of that situation, but thank God once I started saving a little bit more, I just started making more of my payment, and I was able to get out of it faster. So mishandling money also means not spending your boutique money on yourself. So when I first started my boutique, I hardly went out to eat. And there was times where my sister and her boyfriend would go out to eat, and I would tell them, dude, I'm broke. Like, I can't afford to have dinner. And that's a really bad mindset. You should never say you're broke. But back then I didn't know anything about, you know, The Secret. I started reading a lot more books about manifestation and all that stuff. So I never say that I'm broke. I am wealthy, and I have everything I need in life. And that's what I tell myself. And you should tell yourself that too. Even if that's not your current situation, you need to believe it, or you need to think that that's where you're going to be. So I would tell them, dude, I don't have any money. I can't afford to go out to dinner. So they would spot me, and they would take me out to dinner, and they would buy my food and all that. And it was a really sad time for me, because I only had money enough to like buy or pay my car and my car insurance, and that was it. Like, I probably had Maruchan for days. My sister and my mom would come on their lunch and bring me lunch, or they would come you know, on their lunch at work, and they would bring me food, or they would like let me go to the restroom, because I was my only employee at the boutique. So I was doing the online orders. I was doing, you know, I was the customer service person at the boutique. I was doing the cleaning. I was doing the buying. It was a stressful time, but I didn't have any choice. This is what I wanted to do, and I was going to keep pushing. So I actually was selling It Works at the time. It's kind of like an Herbalife brand, and that really did help me, you know, have money for myself, because I didn't want to take money from the boutique for myself. And that's a mistake that I'm sure other boutique owners are making. You shouldn't do that. You should probably find a second job if you're wanting to buy things for yourself or whatever, because that money that you're getting back for your boutique needs to be put back into your boutique, and you need to be, you know, investing. Like, why are you spending money on things that are not going to make you any money? It doesn't make any sense, especially in the beginning. Like, your finances are good and all that, then of course you can splurge, buy yourself a Louis if you want, whatever. But in the beginning stages, that is highly unlikely. And I've seen a lot of boutique owners on TikTok that are brand new boutique owners that are posting like, you know, this lavish lifestyle. And yeah, it can happen for some people. Some people can be an overnight success, but not everybody. And you shouldn't try to convince people of success because you have these material things. It really doesn't mean anything. So, you know, I was okay with driving a Hyundai at the time. I was okay with, you know, not being able to go out and go shopping and do the things that I love to do. Keep yourself on a budget. I mean, if you don't have any other income and the only income you have is your boutique, maybe it's time to look for a second income, or maybe it's time for you to put yourself on a really low budget. So tell yourself, I'm only gonna spend probably $20 this week on myself, and that's it, because my business comes first. And it really should, because at the end of the day, your business is what's gonna give you money. Oops. Your business is what's gonna take care of you in the long run. If you don't take care of it in the beginning and you just worry about yourself, you're not gonna get anywhere. So you really just need to make sure you're taking care of your business in the beginning. Don't compare yourself to other boutique owners. Don't compare yourself to other boutiques. Everyone has their own secret sauce, and it's just time for you to figure out your secret sauce. So keep pushing. And number 10, and this is the last one, and then I'm gonna go eat. Finally, I'm starving. Got my café de olla, ni me lo he tomado. The ice is melted already. But not saving. And obviously this is a hard one. It's a very, very difficult one, especially for me. In the beginning, I was not able to save nothing. And it was funny because people would tell me like, oh, I'm sure you have money saved, you know, you're doing good, you know, your business is doing good. And it was doing okay. But in my head, I was like, yeah, no, I have nothing saved. Like I literally am at negative $1 or whatever. And, or I had like $200, and sometimes I didn't even know how I was gonna make rent. So it's really important for you to save, and you do that by not overspending, obviously. Not overspending on yourself or on inventory. So yeah, so that is my 10 mistakes that I've made or I see other boutique owners make, and I just wanted to kind of bring up to you guys. I hope that this information has helped you and not stressed you out. I understand opening a business is a huge thing. If you can maybe apply for a loan. Loan rates are a lot better than credit card rates, so you can always think about that. And sometimes there's even grants for women to start businesses. So look into all those options. And hopefully you're able to find some help. But if not, a second job, an overnight job, if this is what it's gonna take for you to be able to chase your dreams, then you need to do it. I understand it's a big risk. There's a lot on the line, but if you are 1000% sure that this is your dream, this is what you wanna do in life, then you need to do it. And you'll be successful. As long as you're willing to put 1000% and be okay with not getting a lot back in the beginning, and just keep pushing, be consistent, be positive, don't get in a negative mindset. I understand we're human. At the end of the day, there's days where I don't even feel like getting out of bed, but I still do it. And I listen to motivational speeches on YouTube. You know, I have this app called Calm that's for meditating, and I'm trying to get into meditating this year. So that's it for today, guys. I knew this video was gonna be a little long. I'm sorry, it took me forever to film it, and I kept messing up and having to reword everything I said. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. I hope you guys didn't take everything I said to heart. Please don't get discouraged. These things are just things that I wish someone told me when I first started, so I had a clear picture of how things were gonna go, and I braced myself for it, because I thought things were going to be like daisies and roses and cake, and everything was gonna be great, and I was gonna be so successful, and I was gonna be driving a BMW in a week, and things did not go like that. So I just kind of wanted to talk to you guys about that, let you guys know how things really go, how businesses are really built. And I hope that it didn't discourage you guys. I hope that it motivated you guys, and I hope that you guys learned from this video. So that was a lot. That was a lot. Very stressful. So thank you guys so much for stopping by, and I will see you guys in the next video. If you guys have any video ideas for me, please leave them in the comments. I am open to anything, business, vlog, personal, etc. Let me know in the comments what you guys want to know. I hope you guys have a lovely day. Thank you for stopping by. Bye.